Today I'm going to show you how to do this outer edging that we do on our blocks before we sew them together. You can put a multitude of blocks together, and then as long as you frame it in the same color, it'll be really easy to sew up. You can either pick a coordinating color, or if you have a lot of miscellaneous blocks, you could do black or some really nice dark miscellaneous color. We usually, hope you can still see this against the background, use a dark color, because when you have the edge of a blanket being dragged around, that's the part that gets dirty first. Doing my little slip knot. There you go, you still do this. And then you take your block and you look at it and you decide what's the front, what's the back, what's the top, what's the bottom. Now, this is a really basic reversible block, so it's not much of an issue, but some of them you wouldn't want to start with the puffs upside down or something like that. And then you go to the top right hand corner. Put your hook in, not in exact the corner, but like at one stitch down. Grab the yarn from the other side, pull it through. Now you want to crochet over your end string, so you push it there in between the two of them, so you're crocheting on top of that as well as the block. Wrap your hook, do a little single crochet, and that will attach the yarn to your block. And then I will go right up into the very top here, just kind of the side of the top stitch. Wrap my yarn, pull it back through, and I'm going to be doing half double crochets. That's what we use for all of our framing. Wrap the yarn and pull it through all three of them. Okay, so now as you can see, I'm flat with the top of the block, and I'm going to do a corner. Now, I try and do a really nice square corner, so I chain one, and I start working like this is part of the top of the block. I wrap and I go right around the post of that stitch and pretend that that is the top of my block. And then in the very next stitch, I go right where the previous stitch on the side went. So you actually have 3 stitches in a corner. One going this way, a chain up one, and then 2 going this way, and then you just continue along the row. Now here I've gone all the way around, and I do want to point out something, that right along the top here where it's stitches going into the stitches, and even on this side, because I did a little single crochet down this side, you can really see a nice neat row of those stitches going along. But over here I did not do that, and it's kind of a little bit funky going along there. I don't think it's bad, but if you want a really nice clean look, you can always do a single in the yarn, basically frame the block in the yarn that the block is made out of, so it gives you a really nice neat edge like over here. Okay, so I've gone all the way around the block, I've made the corners in all of it. I'm going to do one more stitch to bring me up right next to my starting spot, and then I just go right into the top of this block, top of this stitch, 2 loops on top, put my hook down there, pull it back through. I'm doing a slip stitch, so I'm pulling it all the way through both of those. There we go. I chain up one, and I just start going around the next row. So here I am doing a half double. It's kind of hard to see. You kind of want to go into the top of this stitch here, but it's a little bit weird because it's been gone around the post, so it's almost a bit hidden. And then I go around the chain one space. There we go. And now, here we go. Once again, it's flat with the top. So I turn my work, chain one, and I do a stitch around the post of the last stitch, or the first corner stitch. There we go. So now I'm going in the right direction, and I do a stitch right here into this chain one spot where I did my first corner stitch. There we go, my corner is done, and I just keep working right along until I get all the way around again. And then what you want to do is you want to have some yarn to sew with. This is why we start so close to this top corner. So you take your yarn and you pull it up to the top of the block, you lay it down all the way to the end, and then you pull it back up, give yourself a couple of extra inches there, and clip it so you have this nice long tail, and that should be plenty to sew with. And then you do a slip stitch right into the top here, okay, and then wrap and pull your yarn all the way through that slip stitch, yank it tight. There you go, you're ready to put it in a pile until you're done with all of them, and then you can sew up that strip.